What if you could create more kindness in the world just by being you? Everyone has the potential to create and receive more kindness. What if kindness is more than being nice and compassionate to others? Have you ever considered what having more kindness for you could create in your life? Get ready to learn how the energy of kindness is integral to reducing stress in your life and how it can assist in healing your body. Now, here is the host of Cultivating Kindness with Karen, facilitator of healing, Karen Leslie.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. It's always such a pleasure to have this time where we can hang out together. As you know, I love Wednesdays, and for those of you listening on replay, Wednesdays is the time or the day that I go live at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it I don't know, just makes my day. I love coming and hanging out with you. And I'm so grateful for those of you that come and join me live and bring your questions into the chat room and just bring your energy to the show. It's such a gift and I love it. So today we are going to be talking about letting go. And as the show was being introduced, I immediately had this image of a really lovely, not wicker, but like rope, like basket, like a big, nice handmade basket with a lovely handle on it. That's a nice size for gripping. And it was full of apples. I don't know, go figure. We'll see how the show goes. But it was full of red apples. And in the introduction, it was talking about, what can kindness bring to you? And I saw this full basket, and then the idea of bringing something else into this basket, and where would it go? If your basket is really full, then even something that's purely energetic, that energy of kindness, could feel like it's overflowing your basket. So it's a great visual as we go into today's show, which is called The Upside to Letting Go. Now, I could let go of the basket and drop it and have apples rolling around all over the place. Not likely a choice I would consciously make. However, it is absolutely something that could happen when things get overflowing. They can be actually physically too heavy for us to continue to carry or move from one spot to another spot, but also energetically and emotionally, we can be carrying too much, and that can feel heavy, and things can spill out of us, maybe in words that aren't so kind or in emotions that aren't that comfortable. But when that happens, so if I drop the basket and there's apples everywhere, there'll be some still in the basket, most likely, in probably the bottom half or so will still be full, unless I do a really good job and it tips right over. But we'll say there's still going to be some in the bottom. I then have the choice of which apples do I want to pick up and put back into my basket. If some got really bruised in falling, I could choose to not put them back in. Or I could get a second basket and I could load in some into that one and some into my original basket. So there's so many ways of looking at how we want to bring things together, what we want to still hold on to, and what we may or may not be willing to let go of. I was thinking of the bruised apples going into a separate basket. That could be a basket that's holding on to some of the things for you that are uncomfortable. That could be things that are like a wound or an area that might need healing. that you could tend to what's in that second basket in a different way. So you're letting go of them from that first heavy basket, but you are not totally throwing everything away or out. And you're kind of moving them to the side to look at later and just make another set of decisions. So it was a very cool visual. So welcome to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. If this is your first time joining me live for my show, or the first time you're hearing me on a replay, thank you so much for joining in and finding Cultivating Kindness with Karen. My name is Karen Leslie, and I'm the host of this show every week. You can find this show everywhere. The Inspired Choices Network is brilliant at making sure that my show is available all around the world on all of the major platforms for both audio and TV. So you can also watch if you would like to do that as well. All right, let's get a little more into the topic of the upside of letting things go. Now, very often when people think about letting things go, there can be like a real resistance. Some people's bodies will actually move back. Some people will have an immediate thought of, oh, no, can't do that. I don't want to do that. Or there's this very common, if I let that go, if I give this away or I throw this out, I bet you anything I'm going to need it in a couple of months or a year down the road. And so we have this fear about letting go of something because we think we might need it later. And that can apply to both a physical item, like, I don't know, for those of you watching, the glass I have here. I love this glass. And if you watch me all the time, you see it all the time because I use it every day. But what if I chose not to? I might really want to keep it because the day may come along where I think, oh, I really want my pink glass. But if I gave it away, I wouldn't have it. I can get another one. I know the woman who made it. I could ask her for another one. Would it be identical? No, it won't because this is handmade. But I can still get another glass and it can still have the color pink and white in it or whatever I might like. But we are very fearful of letting things go. We resist and resist and resist. And we do the exact same thing with our thoughts. We may not be as consciously aware of it, but we hold on to thoughts just in case we need them one day down the road. Just in case somebody challenges me on something I say, I need to have that thought or I need to have that belief right there so that I can draw upon it if needed. It's a really interesting way for us to live our lives. It creates comfort, no question about it. It creates discomfort if we're going to be a little braver and look at letting things go. It creates barriers. It closes doors. And we miss opportunities. So just thinking of that basket that I spoke about at the very beginning, so full of those red apples. And then they spill. I drop the basket, the apples spill out, and I see some of them are bruised. So I may put them in that second basket. They may have bruised as a result of the fall, like the apples falling. They also could already have been bruised, but I either chose to ignore it or I just actually didn't see that some of them were bruised. But by them falling out and me looking at them one by one and picking them up and then looking to see which basket I'm putting them back into, that gave me an opportunity to look more clearly at each apple. It showed me, perhaps, some apples that needed some attention somehow, that weren't how I would maybe like them to be compared to the other apples. That if that basket hadn't overflowed or I hadn't dropped it, I may never have allowed myself to see that. There's a real gift in that. But I think all of us would go to, no, I dropped the basket, or there's apples everywhere. We'll go to the wrongness of it somehow instead of just pausing. Oh, the apples, they fell, they spilled, I dropped it. And just acknowledging what happened without judgment, without criticism. And that then allows you to be more open to what has just unfolded around you, giving you the opportunity to see something from a different perspective, and that you would not have been able to have seen if you got angry or judgmental, or maybe even really sad that you dropped the basket and the apple spilled out. How we look at things is so important. That energy you're being, that perception you are allowing yourself to see, that resistance to look at something differently. This is all tied into whether you're going to be able to let something go, or whether you're going to clench onto it and grip onto it and keep it with you indefinitely, or until something changes where you can look at it from a different or a new perspective. All of our thoughts are deeply ingrained into us. They are. We've had them for decades and decades. Well, unless you're like 12 years old and listening to me, unlikely. Maybe you've only had your thought for 1 decade. But I think the majority of my audience is older, and you will have had these thoughts for a long time. The thought about a physical item, the glass, clothes, a chair, china, anything like that, it's very similar as well to the thoughts you were going to have in your mind, to that mental, emotional side of ourselves. There will be some variation between something tangible and physical and the mental, emotional thoughts, sure. But if you're willing to look at it quite honestly, you will see a connection. For some, you'll see a wound. You'll see some form of trauma, some form of hardship that is connecting everything. The question is, do you have the desire to look, the courage to look and to gain a new understanding? And are you willing to be vulnerable with yourself and perhaps someone that you're working with a coach or someone to assist you, perhaps a therapist or a counselor? You will see dots, and then it's up to you. Do you wish to connect them and see where they lead and what information they give you? When we, okay, I'm only hearing the word hoarding. So when we hoard things, and you can hoard your thoughts, this is not just physical. You can absolutely hoard them as well. But we'll look at it from the physical at the moment. So when you really seek out and obtain things and you hold on to them for decades, indefinitely, and your space builds up and gets more and more cluttered, there's some real downsides to that. There's no question about it. There is physical health that can be impacted by this. There's a spiritual health that also gets impacted. Negative energies and nuisance energies. They don't have to be like really bad energies, but they can be trickster energies. Like there's all forms. Loves to hide in clutter and loves to hide in a hoarding environment. It's a playground for them. And it negatively impacts you mentally, emotionally, physically, as well as all of those areas of your life being impacted by the items that are piling up around you. The depression and the anxieties and the coping mechanisms that come into play to just get through your day are real. And it becomes very serious. It will be indicative of a trauma or some form of experience that has had a tremendous impact on you. That is behind a lot of situations where we hoard things or where we're unwilling or unable to give things up. So we'll look at this a little bit, not too much. I'm going to focus in the remainder of the show a little more on the mental and emotional aspect and our thoughts and the gift of letting some of them go as well. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We are at our first break already. So thank you so much for being here with me on Cultivating Kindness with Karen, where we talk about so many different ways that we can bring kindness into our own life. And as we do so, we share kindness with others, even if we're not even consciously thinking about it. Bringing the energy of kindness to you will just ripple out. And who knows the impact you will have on the world around you. To me, that's exciting, it's inspiring, and it really, really propels my day forward all the time when I think about this. So we're going to dive into this a little bit more. Don't go away. We'll be back just in a couple of minutes, and we'll carry on looking at the upside to letting go. All right. Thanks, everyone.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. So, the upside of letting things go. I mentioned in the first segment that we can often have that thought, well, if I let that go, I'm going to need it in the future. Now, we might think of that more for a physical item. As I mentioned, it can also go for our thoughts as well. One of the other things that happens a lot when we go into this resistance of letting something go is it makes us uncomfortable. And our mind really wants us to be comfortable, wants to, the brain's there, keep us alive, keep us breathing, keep everything functioning, but also maintain the status quo. Ideally, that is a status quo of being comfortable. Now, comfortable does not equate to being happy or joyful or prosperous or anything like that. Comfortable just means the same, familiar, what you know, what you can expect. So that can be sadness or depression or grief. Whatever your dominating thoughts and emotions are, your mind works very, very hard to keep them there for you with the total agenda that this is good, that this is the right thing to be doing. So we come up against this wall, this like real resistance when we think about letting something go, whether, as I said, whether it's a chair that's been in your family for a number of generations and you feel obligated to hold on to it, even though it's not your taste, you don't really like it, but you have this belief you need to keep it. You can't use it because it's old and it hasn't been repaired, or its structure hasn't been made more sturdy so that it can actually let someone sit on it without possibly breaking, or possibly it needs reupholstering and that's just not something that you can do right now, but you hold on to it. Yet you could gift it out, you could give it away, you could sell it, but you could give it away to someone who loves to take antique pieces of furniture and lovingly put them back together and make them sturdy and functional and beautiful again. But our belief won't let us do that. So it takes up space. It takes up physical space in a room in your home, and it takes up physical space in your thoughts, in your mind. This whole library of thoughts that makes up your mind, it's one of those files and it takes up space. Your mind, in theory, will always have room to add in additional thoughts. I don't know the capacity of how many thoughts the mind can actually hold. I do know we have between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts a day. So there's a lot of space there. And there's a lot of clutter. There's a lot going on that are keeping you comfortable. And in addition to that comfortable, it brings in doubt, fear, anxiety, all kinds of different ways for stress to arrive when you think about letting something go. When you think about pushing through that resistance and actually making a change. So then you're going to go back to, oh no, this is just, no, not doing it. And you stay cluttered. Take a moment now. Think about a thought pattern that you have on a regular basis, often, daily, maybe multiple times a day. That's going to be one that is firmly rooted, that you will have some resistance to letting go, even if consciously you know that this may not be a helpful thought. The act of letting it go is going to bring up some form of reaction in other thoughts and in your physical body. Resistance is tangible. You feel it. You can see it in your actions. You can, if you're listening, you can hear it in the words you are speaking. But if you wish to move on and create more in your life, you need to make space, because we do get to a point where we feel like, tilt. Okay, enough. And there's the only word that's coming in right now is saying, but it's not really necessarily a saying that we all know, but there's this idea of you need to let something go to make room for something new to come in. I don't know if that's an actual quote someone has said, or that's just how we all speak about it. But there's so much truth to that. You need to let that old chair go. not take up that floor space in your home and in your thought process. When you actually take it out of the house and it comes out of your thought process, then you have this space in your house that you could leave just as space and see how that feels. And then at some point, there may be something that comes to you that you would like to bring into your home that could be in that space. You'll never have that opportunity to bring that new item into your home until you let that chair go or something else go. Same with our thinking. What do you need to release to be able to have more in your life? You can look at, okay, so what is maybe safe for me to release? What is a safe thought? That's a bit of a tricky question because your body's going to and your mind's going to want to go, oh, no, let's just stay the same. That is what is safe. But when you can let something go, that thought go, you truly do open up for a new opportunity to come forward and you to be able to see it. It's like that basket of apples. You can't see the ones that are down in the middle of the basket. You can only see the ones that are on the top. And you kind of forget about what's in the middle or at the bottom. You just know they're there and that's a good thing. But is it? Like, really, is it? We carry a lot of emotional baggage with us. And there's really good reasons it's there because we've experienced so much in our lives. But how heavy is that for you to continue to carry it? I have released so much, so many thoughts, so many beliefs, and so many different patterns in the way I think and behave. And it's all led to me being here with you now. Those of you who know my history or have been following along with me for the last year and a half on Cultivating Kindness with Karen, you know I've had a lot of struggles in my mental and emotional health. Tons. And I only got to where I am here now based on the fact that I did the work. I let things go. A big one was I had to let go of that thought about suicide. I had to let go of stories that were keeping me in that energy of depression and anxiety and poverty, lack, like this whole way of being. It was a choice I made, and it took effort and it took assistance from other people helping me. But had I not let any of that go, I guarantee you there would be no show called Cultivating Kindness with Karen. There would not be. I would not have a podcast. I would not be doing things that are actually enabling people around the world to hear me and see me or read the words that I've written in chapters I've had now in 3 different books. Letting go allowed me then to see these other opportunities, these other ways of looking at my life and life in general. There was a time where I would never, ever, I was too afraid to think about putting a chapter in a book. I was terrified of it, very judgmental on my skills when it comes to the written word, both in actually writing it and in reading the word. And now I've got 3. Thanks to people I work with and thanks to work I've done. There is so much that will change in your life if you have the ability to work with you to let things go. The upside is massive. It truly is. Will it be a smooth road? No, I can't guarantee that. I can't, because there'll probably be bumps because you'll have resistance. You'll have some crunchy bits that will come up, but they're only information. and looking at them from a neutral perspective and from that place of curiosity and thinking, okay, so if I actually work with this and I heal this and I can let this go, what will the gift to me be? There is always a gift because everything is always working out for you if you choose to look at it that way. Remember, everything is meaningless until you give it the meaning. So what meaning are you giving to holding on to physical items and thoughts and beliefs that, if you're willing to admit it, you know are not a contribution to you anymore? Of course they were at one point. That's how you got that belief. But that changes if you're willing to let it change. And even more importantly, willing to see it. All right, we're going to go for our next break. It's a joy to be here with you on Cultivating Kindness with Karen. And I know maybe I've got this topic a little heavy at the moment, but I really want you to understand that you're in the driver's seat and you're the person that can choose to what you wish to do. And yes, it can take courage. And yes, it can take some vulnerability. And yes, you might need help. But it is 100% possible to do. And where you can go can be mind-boggling because truthfully, you really don't really have a good concept of to where everything can lead you to by being willing to let stuff go. That's part of the beauty. That's part of the joy. That's part of the adventure. And yes, it's part of the anxiety and part of the doubts. It's a whole package. But from my perspective, you can do it because I did it. And I really wish to encourage you to do so too. All right, we'll carry on this conversation when we get back from our break. Thank you so much for being here on the Inspired Choices Network with me today. And don't go away. We'll be right back.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. The upside of letting things go. So here's one that popped in during the commercial break. When we refuse to let something go, we are actually being very narrow-minded. Yep, our beliefs keep us narrow-minded because there's not room for a new idea to come in. Do you wish to stay narrow-minded? Most of us are going to say no because we look at that as not being a strong attribute of somebody or a strong characteristic. The more you hold on to your beliefs and you are darn sure that you are not changing them because they're right and they're true, you become narrow-minded. When we do that, we truly miss out on so many opportunities. Life is constantly flowing and moving, and we are going in and out of cycles and in and out of rhythms and in and out of patterns. I mean, depending where you are in the world, you may have seasons that change. That's a cycle. Our moon, right? New moon gets bigger and bigger. We become a full moon, and then it starts to get smaller and smaller from how we perceive it and look at it. The moon itself doesn't actually change shape, but our perception of it does, and it goes through cycles. Each one is just an energy, an awareness, and something that we can watch. So what is cycling through in your thought patterns that is keeping you stuck or narrow-minded? What are you missing out on as a result of this way of thinking? It will be a lot. It really will. And truthfully, when I was there and in that space, I had no idea how much was out there waiting for me. I couldn't conceptualize it. I couldn't allow myself to go there and think about it because it was too unnerving. It was filling me with more anxiety and more doubt. That's the honest truth. But when I started and I got some positive changes as a result, and I recognized it, I owned it, I was like, okay, what else can I do? What else can I let go of that is not helpful or healthy for me now? And now I am on a constant cycle of seeking out new, of looking for new adventures, of looking for new things to study, new books to read, new clothes to wear. Like my style's changing. The colors I wear are changing. Like everything around me is changing. Like, well, 9 months ago, I changed houses. We moved. I changed cities. This all comes down to how you are going to be thinking about it, what you're going to hold on to, and what you're going to be willing to let go of. This will all dictate how much ease you're going to have with it, or how much difficulty you're going to have, how much resistance is going to be there for you. And I had resistance when we moved. I did, even though it was my idea. I needed to recognize it. I needed to recognize the stories I was telling myself because I built up some good ones. And then the question was, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to let go of? What am I willing to change or heal or find a solution for? What doors am I going to now open that will let me move forward and let go of what I have been accumulating and creating and now dragging around with me? You have the same questions, right? So look at yourself. Here's things you can do, all right, to help making the idea of letting go of something maybe a little easier for you. First of all, recognize your own agenda, right? Number one, how does this personally benefit you? And be honest, right? Be honest. We all have our own agendas. We do. So find yours. Look at the biases that you have for holding on to it. You know, like, are you afraid to be seen a little bit differently? Okay, look at those biases, look at those judgments, and look at those fears. How can you change them, work with them, or prepare for people's responses that may be a little different in a way that you work with it in a healthy manner. Here's a third one. Remain being the essential in your life all the time. So what do I mean by that? To be the essential means that I am front and center, the most important person in every thought, every decision, in every equation. Not from the perspective of being selfish, that everybody's got to do things the way I want them to do. No, not that way at all. That has no energy of kindness. Being the essential means you are in the equation and you are doing what feels good for you. You are doing what you would love to be doing. And when you are in that space, that energy of kindness is there on steroids for you, and it ripples out and everybody benefits. You become the essential decision maker in your own life. When you're not the essential, then you are what's called the incidental. When that happens, life is happening to you. Life is happening at you, because whomever has that role of essential, when you gave that over to them, they're going to direct what's happening in your life. You will be at the effect of their choices. You need to be the one who's making the choices for yourself. It may take a little practice, but being the essential is powerful in a way that will bring in your ability to actually know who you are more, love who you are, or get to that place if you're not there right now. And you will see all your wobbles and all your strengths, and you will make choices from that space to empower yourself. You can always call in waves of kindness, right? You know this, waves of kindness. Just say those 3 lovely words, waves of kindness, and help that to move out some of the anxiety and the stress you're feeling. Some people like to go and figure out, okay, so what's the worst case scenario if I choose to let this thought go or this pattern of behavior go? Now, the mind, you got to be warned, okay? The mind will love this one. Ooh, we get to really play with this and think of all of these horrible things that could happen as a result. So be aware if you're choosing to look at, okay, so what's the worst case scenario here? Do so with being aware of the mind's agenda and being aware of the biases and beliefs that you hold that are going to really come forward in order to create that belief in you that, no, I need to stop and not do this. This is not going to work out. So if you use that one, just know that the mind can really get into it. And then clarity. Like, what is it that you really want to have in your life? How do you want to be? How do you want to feel? Who do you wish to be? Because with all of these beliefs that we're carrying and carrying this heavy basket so full of apples that's full of beliefs and thoughts and commands from others, we lose perspective on who we are. We believe that we are the makeup of all of these apples when other people put those apples in your basket. You didn't actually put them in. So by having that basket fall and spill, you get the choice as to what you will put back into it. From being the essential, from knowing what you would love to have in your life, from knowing what you don't want to have. Use your imagination. It's so powerful. I think we need a show on the power of imagination. Allow yourself to dream. Remember, everything is meaningless until you give it meaning. So what is the meaning you would like to give to your life? What is the meaning you would like to give to you in that? Who do you wish to be? What's in the way? What can you choose to let go of to make that space that you can grow into being that person you would love to be? That person that can create the life you would love to be living. It's all possible, but you might have to drop that basket first. We are at our final break. Really, please don't go away. I want to wrap all of this up and bring it together for you so that you will have hopefully inspiration or empowerment or maybe just curiosity as to what you could change by letting something go. Because truly, there are upsides that you aren't even aware of. Sure, there's crunchy bits, but each crunchy bit is still an upside. Depends on how you choose to look at it. All right, we'll look at more of this when we come back. Thank you again for being here with me on Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Please send me an email, Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. I would be more than happy to hear from you and to write back as well. All right, don't go away. We're going to wrap all this up when we come back here on Inspired Choices Network. Thanks, everybody.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Okay, let's see if we can wrap all this up. So the first question that's popping into my mind, though, is, and I think I know the answer for all of you, is, do you believe in kindness? I think you're all going to say yes. Do you believe that being kind is a nice thing to do, the right thing to do, a positive thing to do? I'm sure you're also saying yes or nodding your head when you hear those questions. So if this is a positive, then I encourage you to be that energy of kindness for you, not just for others. You know how to be kind to another person. I know you do. You may choose to not be that way at times. That's neither here nor there. But I do know that everyone knows how to be kind to another person. I also believe that not everyone knows how to be kind to themselves. There's a lot of teachings and a lot of beliefs out there that we shouldn't be that way with ourselves. Like you give, you don't take. You give kindness. You give your energy and your presence to others. And we're not on the page. We need to be on the page. You need to be on the page. If you're not on the page, you will not be able, at least from my perspective, you will not be able to let things go. The reason I say that is because you are not going to even allow yourself to see that something can or should be let go of, because you're not on the page. You are not the essential in the equation. Every other name and situation is written there, but you and yours. Let's flip that around. Let's bring it around so that you are at the top of the page. And as you're taking care of you and you're letting things go that are hindering your growth, preventing a new level of happiness that you haven't experienced yet, stopping you from having that clarity as to what you would love to have. Right? Enough. Truly enough. I've been there, done that. I get it. I wasn't on the page. It never made me happy to not be on the page. I was afraid to put myself on the page because if I went on the page, then something was going to have to give because all the lines on the page, they were filled. So that meant something had to be taken out, erased, changed so that I could have that space. Step one to healing. Yes. Step one to creating the life you would love to have. Remember that saying, something needs to go out in order for there to be space for something else to come in. The opportunities that will show themselves to you when you start to let go of physical objects and thoughts that you're carrying around with you. The opportunities are massive. And don't take that as being overwhelming, because truly the universe is going to work with you. It's going to follow your lead and bring things to you as you are able to see them, to look at them, and hopefully receive them. We all have times where we can get a little overwhelmed with information or things going on. Absolutely. But you will not be at the effect of this tsunami of opportunities or options. So don't go there. Know that when you are the essential and you are choosing what it is that is not working anymore and that you are going to let it go, you create a beautiful opportunity for your own personal growth, for your personal happiness, and for a continuation of changes that are filled with kindness and love and gratitude. The upside of letting things go is beyond where your imagination can probably go right now. And that's okay. And it's actually a good thing because you can ease into it. You can work with it. You can develop it and grow it as you go, according to what it is you would love to have. So what are you holding on to that you know is in the way? Listen to your words that you're speaking. They will tell you what's going on. If you ever want to know the direction your life is taking, hear the words you are actually speaking, and you will see it. Now, before we go, I want to let you know about next week. We are going to be talking about fitting in versus finding the right place. They're very different. They are so different. And yet, many people look at them as being the same thing. So I'm going to be talking about how they are not, how to know the difference, and how to create it for you, because you're the essential, so that you can have what you would love to have in your life and be who it is you would choose to be. Start with looking at what it is you'd like to let go of. Give some thought to that. Maybe even work on it a bit between now and next week's show. Then come to the Inspired Choices Network and join the chat room. Bring your questions. Join the show. Let's have a conversation. Let me help you.
Thank you for listening to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Karen Leslie returns Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can find Karen at KarenLeslie.ca and follow her on social media. Until next Wednesday, Karen is sending you waves of kindness for a fabulous week. Remember, it's only you who has the power to be and receive the kindness required to change your life.